So I wanted to move on to the sound design because you had mentioned having to kind of layer things in, and what I wanted to find out a little bit more about is how the sound design fits in with the music and vice versa, because it can be very easy for one to overtake the other. And I know that if that underlying sound beyond just the music, if that goes away, you very much notice that it's not there. And one of the things that I noticed from even within the beta is that it seems richer to me than anything we've kind of done before. So how do you kind of marry those together?
The ambient sounds are very carefully considered by us and in context with the music and also as a standalone. And Jonas Laster and Derek and myself spent, I don't know how many weeks, coming in really early in the morning, spending about 1 to 2 hours listening to every ambience that had been created for literally both major continents and all the new zones, and critiquing and making notes for changes and things like that, because that's the one thing that plays all the time. I mean, the music comes and goes, and right. The ambience really has to provide that little push over the edge into full immersion that make you feel like you're there. And in context with the music, I think all of us who are writing and finally mixing this music before it goes into the game, we take the ambience if it's ready and we play it alongside the music and kind of make choices about how loud certain musical elements should be. You know, can I hear the English horn solo or the French horn soaring over what might be a pretty complex background ambience, depending on where we are.
Mm-hmm. So we're still in Azeroth, and things have kind of been flipped on their heads, so to speak. How does the sound design fit in with those changes? You were mentioning earlier, Derek, that going to these places that used to be, your memories have changed. So how did that really influence that sound design then?
Well, I think one of the things that are different this time around, well, Jonas was working with a far bigger team than ever. You had Brian from the previous expansions helping out, Chris Giampa, Michael Johnson, Paul Menachini, John Graves, Chris De La Pena. We had far more hands on the project than ever before, because there was so much to do, not just in the newer zones, but also in the old world with so many new things happening. And they, of course, were pushing it to a new level, trying to incorporate other concepts, not just about what the sound was, but the fact that everything had to do with the elements. So if something was related somehow to one of the elements, there were sonic elements of water into anything that had anything remotely to do with water, or fire, whether it was a lamp or a new campfire or something that drew from some sort of fire-based recording or elemental source. So there's a lot of the conceptual things that have found their way into all the sonic landscape in the new expansion.
We've all seen movies where, like in the case of, say, fire, the fire is so important to the plot of the movie that it's almost a character in and of itself. So the sound design starts incorporating wispy, almost like you're hearing whispering in the steam and the smoke and things like that. So that kind of thinking started permeating our approach to the sound design. So for the 4 elementals, what can we do to not make it say, listen to me, I'm a cool sound effect, but to just subliminally have the ear kind of go, well, this is familiar. And often like a human vocal, like a whisper or something is great for that, because we instinctively, on some level, pay attention to a human vowel sound or vocalization. We
want to hear what that message is.
Right. So it's, there's no words. It's all just kind of ethereal sounds, but you'll hear that injected into our ambiences here and there, just to add a sense that the elementals are sentient, conscious beings. It isn't just physics.